All right, I'd like to call the Townsend Affordable Housing Trust meeting to order for Monday, August 28th. Could I have a roll call, please?
Dave Worland present.
Beverly Napier present.
Cindy Boundary present.
And Veronica Kell present. And Chaz could be coming in if he's available, I think, on the Zoom, Dave, so just look for him. All right, additions and deletions for the meeting. Our water superintendent is with us, so I think I want to he's here to talk about 2.2 new business, the West Down Blood Road property. So what I want to do, let me pass out this invitation, and then Dave, maybe you could. So I want to move this up to earlier in the meeting. So let's just move it up, kind of fit it in for the work session right before old business, if that's okay with everybody.
Okay.
Sure.
Any other additions or deletions? No. Okay. The minutes, Beverly, I didn't include the minutes that you sent me in our packet.
Okay. Well,
So,
You don't have it?
I don't have my computer with me.
Oh, see.
yeah. Can't print from here. So, and the 227 minutes, I looked and I can't find them. So I edited the minutes from the last meeting that we had talked about, those two, I think they will be April and the May minutes.
Yep.
And I made the edits that we suggested, and I turned them into the town clerk.
All right.
So let's just do
We
the
do have-
626
I don't
next
know.
time.
Okay.
I don't think you sent it to me.
We'll just do these next meeting. And I'll make sure I distribute them ahead of time. But and the February 27th, I can't find them on my computer. I thought I had written them. They could have been in the town stuff that I no longer have access to. But anyway, I'll rewrite them. I have my thing. And
Oh, you
there's a
have it?
recording.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll do that rewrite. So we'll have those for the next meeting. And I think other than that, we're up to date on minutes.
Good.
So, and I believe they've been turned in to the town clerk. So we should be good with that. So, all right, so that's minutes. So moving on to the invitation that we just received today. From,
I haven't.
you have one? Oh, okay, sorry. So this is an invitation from the Board of Water Commissioners to have a joint meeting with the Townsend Affordable Housing Trust on September 11th. And I will not be in town. I won't be available for that meeting. So it's up to me. I'd like to move it to another time. But maybe, Dave, you want to talk about that?
Right.
Yeah, I won't be in town either.
Yeah.
We can move it. It's just getting the process, moving.
Sure.
So years ago, the water department bought a piece of land on top of the hill for a tank to put water in.
On top of Bayberry Hill.
Right.
Okay.
But it doesn't do you any good unless you can get the water there, which you need a booster pump. The water line ends right across the street from the parcel of land.
In the cul-de-sac, or was that?
No, this is the one on West Elm, and it's at Blood Road Extension, the two side-by-side parcels that have no constraints.
This is the second one we looked at the other
We
day?
did not
We
look
did
at it at all the other day.
What's the acreage of that?
I think it's a 3-acre and a 4-acre piece. Let me show
I
you.
thought it was 2 and like 5.
2.3 and 4.7, it's
Right.
right here.
Yeah.
So these are the two parcels that we're talking about.
So,
And they have that's the map from MRPC. They have absolutely no constraints.
Okay, and the access is West Elm
Yeah,
or Blood, which is the,
both, actually.
okay.
They have road access on, this one has it on West Elm and Blood Extension, and this one is Blood
All right,
Extension.
so on this map, can you kind of point out where the
either like a 50 by 50 in either corner.
And that would feed the whole thing.
That, then that would be able to give, right now, you couldn't get water up here, you have to drill a well. But
Right.
with the booster pump, I can get water up here and water up the hill, and I can supply the whole end of town.
And that makes the area between Route 13 and Lunenburg Road then able to have town water,
Correct.
which means that area of town could be open for MBTA communities.
Correct.
Okay.
It's kind of nice.
And that's the area of town it's not in the ACEC. It's not priority habitats. It doesn't have the, constraints
Right.
from an environmental standpoint that pretty much
Right.
all the rest of town has.
Right, so we're not even asking for ownership of the land, we just want an easement. And they say, if anyone ever been up West Meadow Road? And you ever see the little booster building? Same thing. It's just a small little building. You put a pump in and you can pump the water up to the hill, and then eventually we'll put a tank on, up on the top.
Up on the top,
Yeah,
right,
of course.
No, it has to be on the top.
yeah.
So what you do is, it saves money by putting a booster pump in, and then it's gravity back. So
So
Okay,
where on the land would it be?
it's anywhere you want.
Oh, anywhere we want it, as long as it's.
let me
Right.
see if I can,
Either
screen
here-
share. Can
I
you,
would say either one of these two corners,
Here,
Yeah, that's okay, I'll come over there.
okay.
yeah,
either one of these two corners, it would be up to you.
On West Elm Street,
Right,
that's what I
But
was
we have a
wondering.
hydrant, right here,
Okay,
so the end of the water main is right, see this little lot right here?
yeah,
It ends right there.
oh, okay, so, okay, just so I understand this.
That's okay.
This is just a pump, there's town water that goes up here, isn't it?
No.
Oh, there's not.
No,
It's a huge
Okay.
asset for the town.
Oh, no kidding, yeah, it really is.
It
So,
would make
so
everything
just
more
somewhere
valuable out there.
on one of
That's a
these
good
corners,
idea.
you're gonna put one of those little boxes for the.
right, and you can choose
I
which
like
corner
this,
you
I
want.
like this corner.
Yeah,
Don't
I
ask me
think so.
why, but I
Yeah,
do,
well, you
it's
know what,
not
'cause-
part of the frontage.
Exactly, that's what I think too, it's in the back, in your
It's
blood
wherever
road
you,
in West Elm
you
Street.
would give it to us?
Yeah,
Well, we should have the joint meeting with the water commissioners. So, and I
And it's
wanna check out
wherever
some stuff
you would
with
want
Adam.
to give
wherever
it
you
to
want to
us,
put things. Okay,
because I can make it work.
okay, that's.
It's
yeah.
a very simple,
And then the rest of it's gonna run up West Elm Street, right?
it's gonna go
Yeah.
West Elm Street to past Bayberry, all the way to the top of the hill where, where
Like
the
Old City Road?
antennas for the fire department are,
Tennis for the fire department.
the,
On
the top of-
Lunenburg Road?
Yep.
Oh, okay, no, I don't know where they are.
so it's the
Where are
highest,
they?
it's on the highest, it's on the, tank property.
Which is exactly where, is it past Clement Road or?
You're going up,
Go up
Lunenburg.
Lunenburg Road, like
Right.
West Elm Street.
past Bayberry,
Okay,
then there's the highest point of the hill.
okay.
Yeah.
That whole open spot is the water department's land.
Oh, okay, okay. Is it near the, where there's like a sign for conservation land?
Across the street.
Across the street from
Across the
that, yeah,
Okay.
okay. Yeah,
All right, so we need a date for a joint meeting. So Dave, the 11th, I don't think it's gonna work for
That's
any of
all,
us.
we'll
So,
make it work
So when does the water department meet?
on Mondays, usually.
All Mondays?
Yeah, but we can start the process and I'll,
No, there's no starting a process.
no, well, you tell us when we can meet
Well,
and
are
I'll
you
say,
back by the 18th?
you give me a couple dates and I'll give it to them.
Back on the 18th, but,
That's the day you get back?
yeah. Are you around on the 18th?
the 18th, yes, I'm leaving the 20th, but I'm around on the 18th.
When do you come back?
Well, I'm leaving the 20th through the 26th.
All right, and Bev, what time is your flight when you get back from Michigan?
Noonish, 1 o'clock
Okay, so
On
we
what
could do a
day?
7 o'clock meeting
on the
on
18th.
the 18th. of,
Okay.
um,
All right, so
September.
just push this out a week.
9/18
Yeah, 9/18
at 7 o'clock.
at 7 PM.
And do you meet at across the street from my house? Where's the meeting?
It'd be on Zoom.
Oh, on
Zoom,
Zoom.
oh,
Oh,
okay.
it's a Zoom meeting?
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
On Zoom. All right,
And I'll get them to change the dates.
is that me? Oh, it's Chaz, I'm working on it. Okay, Chaz can't make the meeting.
Oh, he can't make the 18th?
He can't make today.
Oh, today.
But he's the liaison for the Board of Selectmen to,
We're gonna text him with the date.
yeah, I'm gonna say we are setting up, or can you make?
I didn't realize, Big Berry Hill, there was no town water up there. I don't know why I thought there was.
The whole end of town?
Yeah, I never realized that. Huh. So that, I think that would be really.
So there's also legislation that is coming up in the State House that you have to start testing your well water
For the PA.
for
As well.
PFAS, and you won't be able to, and if then you won't be able to sell your house.
And they'll shut down your well.
Oh,
Oh,
So,
my
but
goodness.
if that whole section of town has PFAS, then we have a plan in place to help all those people out.
Where's the water gonna be drawn from?
So right there, right across the street.
the well, the town, there will be a town well right across the street?
No, there's, water lines across the street,
Oh, there's water lines, so the
Yeah, it
well
just
that
ties into the
serves
system.
this area
Yeah.
is the Main
Main Street.
Street well?
which we just rebuilt,
Okay,
well, actually replaced.
Oh, yeah.
okay,
Wow.
So the water lines are right there, it's if it's the perfect spot for us, and
Yeah,
And
it's
I
a
can-
win-win.
I can benefit that property itself, because it'll have town water and that whole end of town.
wow,
Yeah, that would
Wow.
be great. That would be great.
okay. All right, so, that takes care of the joint meeting invite then.
Okay.
So let us know for the 18th of September at 7 PM.
Will do, well, thank you very much.
Okay, and
We'll send
we'll,
a link so we can tie into your Zoom.
and I'm gonna have to post it as a joint meeting.
Right.
So the sooner you can get that to me, the better, because I'm
Yeah.
leaving the week after Labor Day.
Yeah, I'll try
Probably
to
at the
get
same
this the
time,
next
you're in
day to,
Michigan, I'm in Ohio.
this was the next state to talk to you first.
Yeah,
'cause,
yeah, no, this is good, Dave, so thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
You know, I don't stand still.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Cool.
Wasn't expecting any ask today, that was news to me, but anyway, okay.
Well, it's a win-win, and it probably was a long-term plan. This suddenly made sense to do it.
Yeah,
Hopefully it'll,
it does make a difference. All right, the warrant signing policy. Do you guys have with you the, I'm gonna try to share my screen. Can I share my screen? I can't share my screen because I'm not on the Zoom. Dave,
Give me 1 second, Ronnie.
if I can come in on the Zoom, let me do that.
Yeah.
And then I could screen share, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so let me do that, because that might be easier for us to see things here. I wanted to talk about the warrant signing and all, and I want you guys to look at what I'm looking at. And just verify that I'm understanding things the right way.
Recording in progress.
Uh-oh, okay. Why am I? What needs to be?
Your laptop.
Okay, how about now?
Yes.
That works?
Yep.
All right, so, and I'm being picked up by that. All right, so let me pull up the, no, it's TAHT, sorry. want to bring up our 5-year plan. So, need to make sure I have the file where it is. All right, Dave, can I screen share?
Go ahead, you should be able to.
Okay. Share screen.
Yep.
Is that working?
There we go. Yep.
Well,
All right, that's not great, huh?
we can walk over and look
It's
at it.
not very big, but, what I wanted to show you, this is all the, oh no, this is not the document I want to share. Let me stop the share. Well, let's leave that one. I want to share the trust document. Let me put that down. Let me stop the share and get up another one. So it's the one that's at the registry, one from the registry. It's this one. So screen sharing. All right, this is the one that defines how we work. And so, if I go to Article 8, General Financial Operations, so let me go here. 1, 2, 8. Article 8, General Financial Operations. Where I'm looking at this, it says expenditures, but so up here it tells you the treasurer shall be the custodian of the trust funds and shall make a separate bank account for said funds. He or she shall invest the funds in the manner authorized, which has happened, and we can talk more about that in a minute. Any income or proceeds received from the investments of funds shall be credited to and become part of the trust. So we're good as far as that goes. Now it's how do we spend the money? So expenditures by the trust shall be processed in accordance with the town's payment warrant procedures, which shall be controlled by the procedure, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the town's payment warrant procedures are, there's a form, which we can get from Sabrina, and you fill out where it's coming from, who it's going to. Okay, any funds provided by the trust under the annual budget and any approved budget revision will be recorded by the town accountant. So anything we get from town meeting or blah, 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 the town accountant has to record that. The trust financial records shall be maintained by the town accountant in a manner consistent with other trust fund documentation. Okay, so the town accountant is in here too. The treasurer shall issue checks after approval of the warrant containing the applicable expenditure amount. So
Approval by,
we approve.
okay.
All right, so we approve on the warrant. That's where we approve. We turn it into the accountant. The accountant records it and the treasurer writes a
Issues.
check. So does that sound right to you guys from what I'm seeing here? And then here's about audits.
Well, this suggests it's consistent with all the other
Town.
trusts,
Yeah,
so.
so, okay, all right, so I'm just gonna write, I think, maybe put a policy that just takes this and puts it separate. Do we even need that though? Or can we just go to this? Or do we need it written down? This is how you take money out of the,
And where are you gonna, now where is it gonna live? This thing that we're gonna write down. In other words, it's already exists here, so do we need it in another place? Is that what you're
that's
suggesting?
a very good question.
Yeah.
Because the only place for it to live is the website, which I asked Harrison to update, and I just got email that I just saw this morning saying he's updated. So we should all check the website before the next meeting to see if it's what we want. But I asked him to put the 5-year plan in there.
Okay,
I mean, if we were gonna put a policy, that's where it would live, but this defines it.
it does.
So maybe we don't need it.
I don't think so.
What do you think, Dave?
I have not read the whole thing, so I don't,
Yeah, okay.
it's hard for me to comment, but it seems like if it's worked for the other trusts,
There aren't that many other trusts.
I was just gonna say, what other trusts are there?
There are trust funds, the quote unquote worthy funds.
Oh.
There are those. And again, the treasurer keeps those funds, but they go out through the accountant's office.
That's the
So the
difference, right?
warrant
Is
is
our
written.
money comes from the treasurer instead of
Yes,
going through but the expenditures are recorded by
the accountant, correct,
But it comes out of the treasurer. in the
Correct.
Office instead of coming out of the accountant.
Typically, it's the accountant who writes the check because it's coming from the general fund or wherever. But for the trust funds, it's the treasurer who writes the check. So, maybe it's good enough right here, because this is a process. We'll fill out the warrant.
You know, it would seem to me, that there's a form we have to deliver to the accountant.
Yes,
So it very clearly says, this is the trust that it's coming from, this is where it's going to. The accountant basically just has to record that. The accountant doesn't look at it and say, no, I don't like that, it can't be.
No, there's no approval.
So it seems simple. Why, I don't know why we need a separate thing then, if that's the case.
Yeah, could we put another?
All on the same page.
we're all on the same page
Yeah.
with that,
You
yeah.
know,
'Cause
maybe, like, I might just put a little note, like, in my own things, like, you know.
This is
see
how it
this section,
works.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, you know,
All right,
but it's, yeah, I don't think we need another, I
okay.
don't think we need another.
I mean, if we have to pay a vendor, let's say a surveyor or a forester for that matter.
You got
Actually,
the,
that should work the other way, actually. But, you know, if we're paying a vendor, how long does this process normally take?
oh, it's pretty quick, a week.
Okay, because most vendors are 30 days.
Yeah, no, it's quick. We just have to get the warrant in to the account, so we would have to, sign off on it. And give it to the accountant, and we should probably let the treasurer know too, that this is coming, and then the treasurer has to write the check.
All right, so in a reverse situation where money is coming in, let's just say from a forester, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
So the forester, the lumber company says, okay, here's a check made out to the trust.
Yeah,
We'll just give it to town treasurer.
yes,
So the accountant, it doesn't have to go through forms, it's simply a deposit.
right. So money in is the treasurer. This is how I always remembered it. Money out is typically the accountant.
Okay.
But in this case, the money out, although it gets recorded by the accountant, the check is cut by the treasurer. Because the treasurer is the keeper of the funds.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah,
Money coming in, does the accountant record that? Or just expenditures?
Treasurer does.
the treasurer.
The treasurer does?
Yeah.
So,
There's a bank statement.
yeah, but so why does the accountant do the expenditures?
Now, that's a good question. The
If
trust
they don't
fund.
Well,
have money coming in?
Because
Well,
the
I'm just-
treasurer's, I would think because the accountant is looking at all of the accounts for the town. And wants to
what's going
slot
on.
everything, allocate everything, properly.
I just want to know
I
what's
mean,
going
that
on.
would be quite a burden for the treasurer. Treasurer could do it, but I guess the town's
Not typical
bylaws suggest that we need an accountant.
And there is a reconciliation between the treasurer and the accountant.
Yeah.
On a monthly basis. So the treasurer should say to the accountant, hey, I got this in for the trust.
Oh, okay.
And that's
so
where it
good.
would be recorded.
Okay.
So, okay,
Sounds simple.
I'm not gonna write a new thing. And I'm assuming that for signatures to sign off on it, it would be a, majority of that. So we should talk to the treasurer, but we should have, how many signatures do we have coming out if we're gonna go on a warrant? Should be all of us. The Board of Selectmen have to sign off on all warrants, and it's,
So they do.
and it's
The
a
whole board.
majority. So I would think it would be the same thing here, 3 out of 5 of us. That's typically how the warrants work.
Makes
So
sense.
that's the signing that goes on, that we'll sign these out of session, sign the warrants out of session. That's what that is. So it would be a majority of us signing out, and we would know if we have to pay somebody for something, we'll know, and we can just come in separately to town hall to sign the warrant.
Yeah.
So we don't have to necessarily do it at a meeting. So maybe I have to add to the agenda if I know it's on warrant out of session. Maybe I have to add that for open meeting law. I'll find out. Sign any warrants out of session. Okay. Because hopefully we're gonna start getting money in and out. So, all right, so the financials, I sent you guys all the stuff, right? I still have screen sharing privileges, so I'm gonna stop the share and bring up the financials. Back and reshare.
I have this here. Which one are you looking for, the bank balance?
What's happening?
Is
Oh,
this-
yeah,
is
bank
this-
balance,
is
that's
this
that, yeah,
Yeah, okay.
that's what I was
So,
looking
so
for.
we have
Yeah.
it on our side here.
All right, so, that's what we have. Currently, we have $100,106.69 in our account, and you all read the email,
Yes.
correct? From,
So she did, she followed up and did it, that's great.
Yeah.
I had done some research and we could have gotten a little bit more, but it would have been, I like the way she set it up with the 7-day rolling CD. I like that a lot.
I like that.
It's 4%, but the 5.5, whatever, that's not gonna last forever anyway.
Right,
So this is
Yeah.
good.
and it also, since it's a, 7-day rolling or 5-day rolling or
We-
whatever it is,
Change it.
then we also have access
Yeah.
as it goes.
As it goes.
So, which I like, and
Yeah.
it puts the whole amount earning, not just half.
Yeah,
So,
it's, I think, terrific, and I'm grateful that she followed up and did it.
so stop and tell Melissa, so she.
I'll stop by on the way out.
Stop by on your way out, yeah. But anyway, so I was pretty happy to see that.
Yeah.
So that's
I as
just, our balance is good to go there. And there's 669. That's all I had on financials and the signing policy. Involvement, so I'm moving on to the next one, unless
Yep.
anybody else. Involvement by TAHT with the CPA rollout. Cindy and I have opted to step aside from that. There's another contingent of people in town that are picking up the CPA.
Oh,
And so, that will be coming out through them
okay.
over time. So I, last week, transferred everything to, them, to Bill, it's Bill Rideout, John Barrett, I think Karen Clement
Oh.
is involved, and Kim Craven. So, they're gonna pick that up,
Uh-huh,
and so the town will be hearing more from that.
all right.
And, yeah, I think the approach is the one we were thinking, do a petition and then get it on the ballot for the presidential election. So,
I know, so that's,
Good.
that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So,
thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let me see, let me stop the screen share. All right, so the next thing on the,
Now,
yeah,
for the minutes, it's taken over by whom? Is this a, we're gonna call that,
an independent
Entity?
group of citizens.
okay.
An independent, by a citizen group. There may be other people involved. I just know that I shifted
Okay.
everything to Bill.
All right, good.
And Bill was gonna,
Independent citizen.
and Bill was gonna search up people to,
Good.
to head it up and maybe take it in a different direction.
Good,
So,
good.
good. Yeah.
I bet they'll do a great job.
And I think, you know, it's not only housing that's interested in CPA, it's also the historical society is for the historic piece of it, and
Mhm.
people involved with conservation for the,
Mhm.
and recreation for the recreation
Mhm.
piece of it.
There was a really lovely letter that you shared with us from, what town was it from? It just enumerated all of the benefits that they.
Oh, that was Dunstable.
Dunstable.
That was Dunstable.
Really, really nice.
Should I?
And you should definitely share that with this independent group, if they haven't already.
I send that to them? I thought I did. I no longer screen sharing, but let me,
I know one of the other things they were saying is keep it as like a group of individuals rather than town-sponsored. Usually gets more support instead of the
Exactly,
town.
I like that a lot.
Yeah,
Well, and all the benefits, to me, it's just a no-brainer to do that.
I know, I
I know.
Did I
don't think people are aware of the benefits the towns can get from it, here. I don't think they understand. Once people see that,
Yeah. I know, you know, this is what I said in my little dog and pony show. I know everyone's like, well, Groton is a wealthy town and, you know, Groton,
Dunstable's not so wealthy.
I know, well, Groton jumped into CPA in 2004. They have put more than $16 million
Jesus.
back into their community in parks, open space, rail trails, just all kinds of things, historic things at the library, just all kinds of things since 2004. You know, so it's kind of, I don't know.
I know why I can't, it went to my, not my, town Gmail, the one I use for town stuff, it went to my private
Yeah,
Gmail.
but I'm just
That's
saying,
why I
you should
can't
share it
find
with them if they haven't already, if you haven't done it already. It'd be good for them to have
Yeah, I will ship that.
Just save them the
to Bill.
trouble of
I'll check
doing
and
their own.
see. I sent him a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I can't remember if I sent him that one. So.
I just really appreciated reading that. It's-
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
So they did a lot with it, so. All right, I was hoping, moving on to the next item, any update from Townsend Housing Authority on the Warren Road property? Regarding the survey, this is one way out Warren Road where we said we would be willing to survey it and then sell the
Sell it,
back
right.
to, as provided the funds came into the housing trust. And then a Habitat for Humanity project for the town. And that would be the housing authority that would do that rather than us.
Right.
What is that zone for? How many lots was that?
It's just one, it will just be
Single
one,
one.
it's a single one, yeah. So, that, I was hoping Chaz would have some update on because he's on the housing authority
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
And so I don't have any update on that. So I'll move this to the next meeting. All right, unless anybody knows anything about this.
No.
I don't. All right, so the next one, discuss the login proposal.
Did I share that thread with everybody? I think I did.
You did. You know what, I'm gonna get on my regular other Gmail account, because I think that's where that one is too, Dave.
I can probably find it here. But basically, Kyle came back with a list of prices on the various kinds of trees. And I think Ronnie pointed out that 6 years ago, she had a list of the same kind of trees, and the prices were significantly higher 6 years ago. Now lumber has come down somewhat, but it seemed really much lower. Kyle says part of the reason for that is setting up, going through all the trouble in a smaller piece, relatively smaller piece than what they usually do, was costly for them. And so they needed to take out more because the time element was still there. Anyway, long story short, my opinion, I'll solicit yours, there's really only three ways to go. One is to try to see if these numbers are consistent with what other people in the business would put forth for a similar project, without having necessarily to bring someone else in to look at it, just say, here's the prices of this wood. What do you think? We could ask John Masuko perhaps. Bevan, I know a couple of loggers that, are tree people that we could ask, just to see. Second thing we could do is go out and get another bid. Third thing we could do is just accept his, and just move forward.
So do you want my thoughts on that?
Absolutely.
I think that, we should probably run it by Don Masuko, he's the town forester.
Yeah.
And just say, does this look reasonable to you? It was mixed, some things were higher, I think there were maybe, 2 or 3 that were higher than what the land trust thought 5 or 6 years ago. The rest of them were kind of on par or lower. So,
Yeah, here, I've got it.
yeah, I
Oh, you have
I
it, yeah.
shared it up
I'm
there, but,
sorry.
hell no, can I make it bigger? Yeah, yeah,
No, here.
okay,
Here it is.
yeah. So, I just think that maybe we want to, just get a little more information and then probably go for it. If it's in line, I'm good. I'm good with that.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I would run it by Don Masuko. And if he says, oh, what are you kidding, this is crazy, then.
Yeah, this is way, way low, and I'd look for another
Yeah.
bid, or I'd go back to Kyle and say, listen, we do a little better.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, and if he says, yeah, this is pretty close to what it is.
Then,
So then the question would be, if we were to move forward, would be to ask him, what's your timeline? It's gonna get done, this winter, this fall. They don't like doing it when it's spring and wet. It's harder.
right.
And what's the turnaround time between the time you cut, deliver it, and the time we see compensation?
What I would like to do, and again, I've never done it quite like this, because we've always had a forestry plan for
As
the
have we.
properties. And so what I would want him to do is go out and mark the trees that he's gonna take,
And maybe get an estimate.
so that we could, so that we would have an estimate of, we would have already, I wouldn't ask him to do that unless we'd already decided we were gonna do it.
Right.
But I would like to see where the trees are that he's going to take, because in the cuts that we've done, it's always really jarring to see the property after they do the cut.
Mhm.
Even though it grows in beautifully and the undergrowth comes up, it's just really jarring.
Yeah.
And especially on South Row Road, if that's a project that we're considering early on, I would want to make sure that he cut in the area that we do think we're gonna put housing, while still keeping it kind of attractive
Yeah,
in a wooded sense. Does that make sense to you?
It makes sense from our side. From his side, it's like, well, you're telling me we can't, with 20% of the trees I was gonna cut, you don't want us to cut? I don't know. But
Yeah, I don't
it's-
either.
But it's a conversation.
Yeah, I
It may
would,
still be worth his while, their while, but,
yeah, I would like to kind of see that.
because this is the difference between a plan
Yes,
and just,
and just going out and
it's not a
saying,
clear cut. They're not that bad.
okay, yeah, I would not
They
want
wouldn't
to.
clear
Yeah,
cut.
no, I know.
But they would still be selectively cutting based on their profit motive and how easy it is for them to get stuff in the wall. Not
Right,
the aesthetics they're not up for that. The only aesthetic they're gonna give us is they're gonna chip.
right.
That was gonna be my next thing, so, and they're gonna clean up after themselves. They're done, right?
Well, there's a lot of wood chips on the ground, but that's okay.
They'll be,
It's
yeah,
compost.
but it's, okay.
not really.
I know, like that's,
It's a mess.
Yeah, but you know what, after a year, after the seasons, it
It-
all sinks
Now,
down.
like
It's
she
so-
said, the word is jarring. We're gonna go with
It is,
jarring. It's-
well, sure, it's like getting your hair cut.
I am telling you, when the land trust did both cuts that we did, it was like, it was just not what we expected
Yeah.
to see, and I don't know
Yeah.
why, but it was always just a little jarring, even though we wanted it cut, and it does keep the forest healthier
Yeah.
when you do
Lets the
that.
sunshine.
And it allows the undergrowth to
Yeah.
grow,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So anyway,
All right, so I think, let's,
okay, so you'll run it by Dawn
Do you want-
Masuko?
yeah, I can do that.
yeah. Can I ask you a question too? Because I don't know about like.
He must use a Townsend email. Yes, no?
Oh,
Don?
yeah, does Son have a Townsend email address? That'd be great.
Or should we just?
Probably not.
Okay, then we'll
You
just get-
probably
okay.
wanna check with Sabrina to see what his email
Okay.
is.
All
Um,
right, we'll do that before we leave.
Do we, like, does he have any idea? I know he said, or someone said that he didn't have time to like go all the way through the land, but is there a ballpark, like, are we talking how much money you're gonna make?
Yeah, he could say, I saw a lot of white pine, or I saw just a few,
Yeah.
red oak
not
or
that much
whatever,
on
you know,
Yeah. You know, so,
yeah.
we did on
He
the,
wouldn't want to take this on if it wasn't for some,
with, yeah,
I mean, that's kind of a given.
again, so that's, okay, so.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, it has to be worth his time. to
Yeah,
do
that's
it.
real
So-
money. It's a bit,
again, speaking from Land Trust, when we first cut the forest, the forest at, Pheasant Ridge, we got 30 to 35,000 on the first time we ever cut it. When we cut it again, probably 15 years later, there was less to take. And so it was in the 10,000 ballpark. Howard Stein, that was more in the 3,000 to 4,000, because there wasn't as much to take there.
and that wasn't as big, was it?
It wasn't as big, no, it's only 20 acres max up there, so half as much. So we have a 20 and a 30 acre piece. So we're probably looking max 10 to 15 is my guess.
I'd be more optimistic,
Are you more optimistic?
a little bit.
Let's see, but check in with Dawn and then.
But it also makes it so a developer can look at it and kind of,
Yeah.
I think it makes it easier.
And they don't have to do that piece, well, they'll have to do some
Yeah.
site work
Oh,
prior,
they're gonna
but,
stomp, there's
but
plenty of
it will
stuff.
be a little bit different, yeah, so, okay. So you're gonna check in with
I
Dawn,
will do that.
and then does Kyle have a date that he wants to hear back by?
No, he's probably waiting and, I can send him something after the meeting, say, just kind of following up, but I think I want to talk to Masuko first.
Okay, all right,
And then maybe I'll send a group email to all of you to say, all right, this is what Don said. Depending on what he says, should we reach out now to Kyle and say, let's put together a deal?
okay, all right,
Yeah.
And we can ask him to do what you're saying. Sure. Say, can you go out and mark the trees?
so.
He may or may not want to go through that exercise
I know.
until he
Yeah,
actually
he
gets
might
set
not,
up.
Because it's not a forest
Could we even
plan.
say just like along the road, keep those trees?
Oh, now that's a good idea.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I like that a lot.
Keep the, don't
where
take
he's
anything
gonna
down on
have
the road.
difficulty with that is on Haynes Road, because it's the, landing site. I don't know where he's putting the landing site for.
Well, the landing
somewhere,
site's only gonna be, maybe 50 feet or whatever.
But he has to get a truck in and out, so that will be,
Yeah, but that's not the whole strip, that's,
Yeah. Cause like, even if you could just.
is there a stone wall there that's gonna need to be moved?
is there what?
A stone wall there that's gonna need to be moved?
No, the stone wall, I think, marks the end of that parcel, so,
On the edge, it's
On the
not
edge.
along the road, okay,
no, I remember it going along
perpendicular. Okay, all right.
So keep some of the boundaries.
What I might do is I might send them after this meeting, say we had a meeting today, about this and, subject to a couple more inquiries, we're feeling like we'd like to move forward. Can you give us a timeline?
I didn't.
I might do something.
Yeah.
Do we need a motion?
No, I don't think yet. I think the motion's gonna be to make the decision to move forward.
Okay, all right,
I'm not ready to do that.
right, okay, sounds good. All right. Anything else on logging?
No.
Okay. Plan for properties. Start my screen share and I'm gonna bring up the next one. This is why I wanted the 5-year plan. This one. Okay, so I'm gonna screen share again. Screen. All right, so this is our 5-year plan. Let me see if I can get that bigger. Can I get this on there? All right. So this is our fiscal year 2024. Redo the plan of land, including the wetland delineation for South Row Road. Survey an A&R to divide for sale to Fish and Mass Fish and Wildlife. That's Haynes Road. That's the one. So these are our cutting pieces, and it's both of these. And then the Warren Road, that's up to the Board of Selectmen and the Housing Authority and forestry plans for existing property. So what we've done so far is we're talking to Kyle about cutting. We're not doing forest plans, but we're doing cutting on these 2 properties, which are our initial properties. So what I wanted to do was talk about, so South Row Road, Wallace Hill, Haynes, and then West Elm Blood. So West Elm Blood is we'll talk more about that next week, but the forestry, they won't cut that. It's too small a property. What we need to think about is, what do we want to do with that? Do we want to develop it sometime in the future? What did we have down there? Investigate development or sale 2 years from now was what we had originally thought about that for the Blood Road, West Elm properties. So anyway, I'm putting that one off till our
I know
September
until we have this
18th
meeting.
meeting. Yeah.
I know it's funny, and now all of a sudden it becomes part of, I think those are nice lots up on Blood Road.
They are.
They're nice lots.
And depending on what happens funding wise, that might be a way to get money. If the trust needs money, that's a way to get it.
To sell them.
Yeah, to sell them as building lots and fund other trust
Other projects,
projects. But that's for something to think about,
Yeah.
because now too, we can get town water there after that work is done. I don't know his timeline for that, so.
So he sounds, what I got was, I think he
Yeah, I
wants
think
to
they
move
got-
forward as quickly as he gets an easement.
Yeah,
Especially if they're gonna test well water, won't be able to sell your house, that's like
Yeah.
huge.
oh my God,
That is,
right.
yeah,
It's not bad enough with septic, so yeah.
I know,
Right.
I know.
All right, so what I was thinking is South Row Road, because it does have town water access.
Mm.
Haynes Road, a little bit more time to think about. So, let me go down here. It was page 26. 27, this one. So this is the development printer, primer that is in our action plan, and this is from the Mass Housing Partnership. And I don't think I can make it any bigger than what it is. defining the project, setting goals, assessing needs, target population, eligibility requirement, ownership, rental, elderly. So what is our project? Defining the project.
The South Row Road.
And then selecting the development site, and then, which we've kind of done. We have the site developed, selected, it's our South Row Road site, but then to talk more about this. So what I thought was, to get a project going for our next meeting, whenever we meet, to kind of put together a timeline. So what are we thinking about South Row Road for? Are we thinking, there are options. We could do workforce housing. We could do a 55 and over market rate with a 25% affordable piece in it,
That's attractive to developers, no?
and use the 55 and over bylaw that was just put in place in town within the past year, which allows greater density. Which the old plan from 2007, that bylaw wasn't even considered back then. So I think what I would like to do for our next meeting is kind of come up with what are we thinking of for the project, come to a consensus on what are we thinking of for the project. Take a look at the 55 and over bylaw that's in the zoning bylaws for the town. And I'm willing to, making myself a list, I can pull that out and send it to you guys, if that would be
That'd be great.
easier.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me send that to you. And then the other thing is to potential developers. So if we're gonna do any site visits over the next month or two, when I went to the Margaret Scarsdale thing at the library to talk about funding for affordable housing,
When was that? Was I there?
no,
Oh, you were?
I missed that one?
August, it was her August
I
meeting.
missed it.
Yeah, I went because I had read about, it's called the HERO Act. I should send that to you guys too. Where this is an alternative to things like CPA, is a bill that puts a surcharge, state law surcharge on sales of homes that then goes towards developing affordable housing. So it's not a law yet, but it's in the legislature. I know John Cronin hasn't signed on, Margaret has. It's Jamie Eldridge in Acton is the one that brought it forward.
Really?
So anyway, it's called the HERO Act, so it's for climate change and workforce housing. It serves two purposes, these fees on sales of real estate in the state. So, as a way to fund things.
How many units are you thinking about that we can get at South Row Road?
I'm not sure. I have to look at
What was
the
the old
bylaw.
plan? 18 units?
It was
Or there were
18
bedrooms,
bed-
9 units and.
3 buildings with 3 two-bedroom units apiece, is that right?
Yeah.
6, 18 bedrooms.
So 18 bedrooms.
Yeah, it was, the old plan was 3 buildings. Each building had 3 two-bedroom units. So that's 6 bedrooms per unit for 18 bedrooms. So it was 9 units. But I think with the density in this bylaw, we can get more in there.
There's
And-
a septic issue with that.
There is a septic issue.
So the more,
Yeah, there is a septic issue. So, so anyway, we should look at the bylaw. And then, so when I was at that meeting, there was a man there whose uncle had sold property in Littleton. It was Garrett Kavanaugh, had sold, and there's a development in Littleton that he said, go look at. They sold it for workforce development at 55 and over. And it's developed. It's on a pond. I want to say Spy Pond, but I don't know if that's the right pond.
they have sewers there, or did they have to put in septic for that?
I don't know the answer to that.
I'd
So I
love to
wanted
see what their solution was.
to look at that, to look at the development in Westford that we've heard about.
Yeah,
And anything else, just to look at, oh, the guy that, there's a 55 and over, they're using first test of our 55 and over bylaw in town is on Fitchburg Road. And I think the developer is Goldstein. Look at anything that he has done, or that whoever his company is, that he represents has done. So I would like to put together a list of, these are places to look at, possible people to approach, to see what they would think is possible.
Okay.
Does that make sense, or any other thoughts on how to go forward with all this?
I know, or do we have to do engineering first to find out? I mean, there is town water, but to figure out how much, just how much septic that lot can handle, how many, like how big of a system, or,
What I'm hoping is that a combination of the work that MRPC did to show us where the constraints are on the property, those maps that we had out earlier,
yeah,
a combination of that and the plan that we have for South Row could help an engineering firm kind of deduce where things are. It won't tell you how much septic necessarily,
yeah,
but it might give an idea of what's doable.
So do we have to work that first before we make any decisions?
I think it's already been, it was perked, it's probably not
It's just-
valid
this-
anymore.
Yeah, and not, but it's also a capacity issue. So who knows what the capacity was when it was. I think if you can identify a developer who's done things at that scale,
mm-hmm,
the developer might be able to have some idea.
Okay, so I have from that meeting, which I haven't shared this yet. We could talk to him. We could talk to Ross because they did the old plan. And we could talk to the guy that did, that has the plan before the town right now. And then anything else from, if we look at other developments.
yeah.
So what I might do is set up some site walks for when we're around in September, October timeframe.
Yeah, yeah.
And to go look at some sites and to talk to people and say, hey, we have this. And maybe talk to the housing network and see, here's our timeline, here's what we're thinking. Are we doing the things in the right order?
I know, because maybe it is, maybe it is time to talk to some developers and just say, this is what we have. Maybe
Right.
they'll do it. Maybe they'll be like, hey, I can figure out what we have here. I don't know. Who's this guy Goldstein? He's got the thing before the town now?
Yeah, it was a planning board meeting that I was looking at the planning board for something else, and there was this notice of intent or whatever in front of the planning board, and I thought, oh, no, notice of intent is conservation, and a plan. They were looking at a plan,
Yeah.
and it looked really good. It was like the end of July, so it's a recent
What part
meeting
of town? Where?
down on Fitchburg Road,
And
close to
is it
Clemens,
affordable housing?
in that,
Is he doing affordable?
no, 55 and over,
Oh, 55 and older.
market rate, as far as I can tell.
Wow.
It's 3 units. It looks really nice. It's a one-car garage.
Maybe we should talk to him.
Nothing to lose.
I know,
Nothing to lose.
I know.
So to say, hey, we're the Affordable Housing Trust and we have this property and this is what we're thinking, So, all right. So I'm going to work on that
Okay.
and
Alright.
find some sidewalks for us, places to go. We'll do a little Littleton Westford tour
Yeah, that sounds good.
and then find some people to talk to. See if there's any interest in doing this on our limited, you know, and environmentally constrained properties.
I know. And, you know, they're small projects. You know, and that was one thing that came out of like that meeting. They were like, they don't like to do, because they're not gonna make any money.
Well, but this South Row Road, if this can be denser, it's
Yes,
assuming that,
Yeah.
assuming engineering can solve septic problems, there's enough water coming in. So then be interesting to someone if they can, if the 75% at market,
right.
Yeah,
you know, gives them enough incentive. And I mean, to me, that's the first place I would take Sky Goldstein or whoever.
yeah.
Take them there and let them say, okay, you can do this many here, but can you solve the septic problem? Can you,
Yeah,
what does it look like if you, how would you, have you done dense housing? Because what he's proposing now is not, it's not dense, right? It's lot.
no.
Oh, it is?
It is dense. It meets the bylaw. It's the first test of the 55 and over bylaw in town.
Sorry, missed that.
Yeah, so
So
it's,
this should be very apropos.
yeah, it was interesting. I was encouraged to see that. So, anyway, all right, so I will work on that. And does that seem like the next place to go with it? I mean, it does to me.
Sure.
And maybe we do need to do some engineering or pay for some engineering on the site. Or maybe it's something that
It seems to me before we build, we certainly have to, correct?
someone has to. The question is it us or is it the person
That,
that does
gonna do
the
it,
plan,
okay.
that's
Got it.
bringing the plan
Yeah.
forward?
Let's start with the developer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's the path of least
Let the
resistance.
developer say, here's a caveat. I'll do this if you do that.
Yeah,
Because you know
I
what
wouldn't
else,
offer.
too? Did he buy the land?
Yes.
Okay, see, so,
we're not,
yeah, we're not, if he doesn't
the
have to
land is
buy-
there.
yeah,
We don't have to
so-
buy the land.
So
that's-
he can pick up the other stuff,
Right.
you know?
So, okay, I'm gonna put together site walks for potential developments and potential, people to talk to about development.
Okay.
I'll send you guys the HERO Act and the 55 and over bylaw.
So, let's see. Calendar.
I'm gonna stop my screen share. But you can look at, this is all page 26 and 27 in our 5-year plan, you know, to look at stuff. We all have that 5-year plan, you know,
Oh, yeah.
looking to see what's there. All right. Thing.
What else, we need Fran too, right?
In Groton,
She's
yeah.
like a wealth of information.
She knows
And
everything.
they have a lot of affordable housing in Groton. I'm thinking like as far as developers, like names of
Mhm.
who we can talk to or,
Right.
you know,
Yeah, so we could do that. Okay, so, our new housing administrator
I saw something this way.
is Allison Licensee, I think is how you say her last name. And she's starting, I think, after Labor Day.
Oh,
So stop in and introduce yourself.
What's your last name?
Licensee, Weis, like Weiss,
Yeah.
Sensee. I think that's how you pronounce it, I don't really know. But she'll be in the land use office. I think she was appointed at the last Board of Selectmen meeting. Didn't watch the meeting, well, it was not, to
Starts
see
when? After Labor Day?
after Labor Day,
Okay.
right after Labor Day. So, and she'll be housed in the land use offices. I think at the desk that Jessica used to be at, in the back corner there, across from Beth.
So stop in and introduce yourself, and, hopefully she'll be doing, once she's in and rolling, the things I was thinking that she could help us with is agenda, posting the agendas.
I save you the trouble.
She could attend our meetings during the day, and she could take the minutes and do the, and do that. Freeing up the clerk, that's one option, I mean, because when you have staff for this, that is something that they can do, and it's, we have her, I think, 4 hours a week for us. So I think that would be good.
Probably not gonna be overload her too
So,
much.
yeah, to start with, but they cautioned us if we had staff to make sure we had things that were doable and could be done
Right,
and could
exactly,
be accomplished.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, the agenda,
And the
the
minutes.
the minutes,
The minutes.
attending our meetings
Yeah.
and getting to
Yeah.
know us and what we're
Right.
doing, and,
Right?
Yeah.
for the month of September and October.
So now what other boards is she working with?
The Housing Authority,
Yeah,
so she'll do the same thing for them.
yeah.
And then she's also just general grant stuff for the town, and that's it. So she's housing, I think housing is 9 hours a week. So 4.5, split between the two boards. And, grant is 10 hours a week, I believe. So she's 19 hours a week. She's a part-time
Okay.
employee. And I'm not sure what her hours are, so you might want to, we might want to check that. I'll email out to you guys if I find
Okay.
out.
Yeah, we
You know,
have to set our meetings around her.
Yes.
We want her to join us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it would be good to do them daytime so she could come,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's great because obviously she's doing housing.
Right, right.
Yeah, good.
So, and then as time goes on, we could use her for contacting people and setting up meetings that we need, anything like that. But right now, I think it's more keeping the website up to date, making sure it
Right.
has, I mean, she could put our properties up there, that sort of thing. Information about our properties, we can figure that out.
Yeah. I think it sounds good.
So, anyway,
Yeah,
that's it.
I know, that's all.
I'm excited to have staff. That would be wonderful.
What's happening with the housing authority?
Okay, so,
Just because I'm curious. It's
that moves us down to our next meeting dates. I requested a joint meeting with them. They suggested September 5th, but I'm not ready for a joint meeting yet.
I don't think we are.
I don't think we are either. I
No.
thought October.
There's not enough to talk about yet.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And they meet at night, typically.
Right.
It used to be Thursday nights. Let me see if they have anything posted. Townsend. So, Natalie Call is now their chair. It's not Courtney anymore. It had been Courtney, Borelli, but now it's Natalie Call. And we've got boards and committees, boards and committees, Housing Authority. Next. Oh, well, the announcement says next Townsend Housing Authority meeting, this is on the website, Thursday, January 21st, 2021. So that isn't right. But anyway, they suggested a date in September and we're just not ready yet. But October or November, so, and they probably are gonna want an evening meeting, is my guess, because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have people on their board that work during the day.
Right.
And so,
Well, let's set our next meeting first, and then set
Okay.
theirs, unless you think that we'll have more to talk to them about before we have another meeting.
okay, so we have the 18th is a joint meeting
Right.
September.
Yeah, 18th of September, joint with,
That's a Zoom
that's a Zoom,
with the water commissioners.
Zoom with Board of Water Commissioners. And what I thought I'd do is we can just set up, I'm gonna set up a site visit, similar to what we did with Kyle.
Yeah.
Just us to go look at these sites.
Okay.
That the housing network and the one that we learned about at the Margaret Scarsdale thing. Just to go and look at these developments.
Okay.
So that'll be September. I think that's enough for September. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Okay, so anything after the 18th, you're back, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
So I would say set up a Monday, an October Monday.
Second is a Monday. You around?
Are you
Yeah,
around?
Yeah, I'm around.
Or then it, okay, so it's either the 2nd or the 16th. I'm good with either.
Yeah, either of those.
I think second's better.
Second,
is good.
Well, for
The
us.
16th seems far away.
Okay, so let's do October 2nd at 1 PM. And I'll get a Zoom from Dave for this. This is TAHT. And I'll check and see if our new housing person can come then.
okay.
You know, maybe she could even rearrange her days for that week to be here for them.
For that, yeah.
I'll ask her. So November 2nd, and then
No, October 2nd,
October 2nd, November for a meeting with
the housing.
housing. So are you guys around in early November? I'm thinking maybe the 9th.
Maybe the what?
The 9th?
Is that a
Thursday?
nighttime meeting?
That's a Thursday,
Is it a nighttime?
a
meeting?
nighttime meeting, yeah.
I could do a nighttime meeting, I can't do a daytime.
Okay, other days that, I'm just gonna throw out some dates.
Well,
What about the
You said
seventh?
do they meet every Thursday, every other Thursday? When do they
I
meet?
can't, I'm looking for that, hold on one second, that's what I was looking for. Housing Authority. They met, there are no current dates on this. These are all 2021 on the web.
I know on the website, that Townsend website makes me
That's
insane. I don't think,
Why not reach out to them
Okay,
and say, what
Yeah.
would be
What
good
November?
to meet in November? And let
Early
them,
November.
Yeah.
let them suggest a date, and chances are better than not that we can do it.
okay. I'll throw out to them, joint meeting early November, and it would be in the evening. And I don't know if they meet in person or if they're still meeting by Zoom. It's possible that it could be an entirely Zoom meeting. You know, so
I'm probably not here the first weekend in November.
first week, okay.
at the second meeting.
Yeah, like the
Yeah,
second,
okay.
I'm not gonna.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's the week that Halloween is. So not
Yeah.
Halloween week.
Yeah,
Oh, that's the.
Yeah, it's,
that's Halloween week, so not Halloween. week.
not
Okay.
I'll be
Halloween
in
week.
California, I'll be back, but I'm probably coming back like the 6th and the 7th, I'm not even sure yet, but I will be around the 9th.
Okay, so let's say, you know, those, you know, from the week of the 8th, later in the week. Let's look at Thursday, the 9th, and Thursday, the 16th.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what I'm, 9th and the 16th, okay. Then you get into Thanksgiving, I think, after that.
Yeah, no, we don't wanna go any later than
doesn't that
that.
sound
No.
crazy?
Yeah,
I
it does, doesn't it?
Ugh.
That we're already looking at. Yeah, okay, all right, so I'll throw those out, you know, or we could do it the Wednesday or a
Yeah.
Tuesday or, but,
Yeah,
okay, that time frame. All right. That's what I said.
So
All right.
do you want to do a site walk at some point in September?
Yes, to look at housing options.
Yeah, so look at a calendar and let's see.
Oh, yeah, you want to?
yeah. we might as well.
Yeah, let's do that,
Okay.
because I'm not gonna, you know, it's probably gonna be us going to neighborhoods and looking at stuff. And maybe if we can meet with the developer, but these are places that are already developed.
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
but we might be able to talk to someone. Okay, so how does September look for you guys? I am gone until the 16th. From the like 7th to the 16th.
All right, so the last 2 weeks. Maybe,
Yeah, that works.
maybe the last week of the month.
Okay, the
No?
last week of the month, I am available the 27th and the 29th.
Okay,
That
So
works for
I
us.
could do one of those days.
Yeah,
Yeah, why not? I mean, or the week before even, but whatever.
Yeah, or the week before.
how's the week before, Cindy?
I'm gonna be in Savannah.
Okay, all right, so let's, the 27th or the 29th?
the
Okay.
27th.
All right.
Why don't we say 27? If the weather's terrible, then we'll do 29th.
That works for
Okay.
me. All
Okay.
right.
Rain date down to
Yeah,
29th.
rain date
7th,
29.
29th is the rain day.
What time?
Could go in the morning, you know, meet here at town hall at, what time's good, 9:30?
9:30, 10 o'clock,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, I'll send out a thing and a map, it's like the housing tour. As opposed to the garden tour or whatever, we'll do a housing tour.
I know,
Place the coffee along the way or something,
Yeah,
yeah,
we can all jump in one car, do caravan style, like.
right,
horses or-
whatever works, yeah. All right,
Good.
All right, so
let me write this in my calendar. So housing site tour.
yeah, because that's,
Rain date. Okay,
all right, so that's the site walk, 9:18, joint with water,
Yeah.
10 to our meeting,
yes.
and then 11th, November 9th or 16th, joint with housing.
Well, that's actually good to do it the 27th or the 29th, because then October 2nd, we can talk about
Yeah, there you go.
what we
There you
see,
go.
and, you know, that's
Okay.
perfect, okay. All right. I don't have anything else. Does
Oh, that was a
anybody?
lot.
It's enough.
Yeah,
Enough.
it's enough. Okay, all right then, so is there a motion to adjourn?
I think the motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
2:25. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, then we are adjourned.